Hey, Unbothered family. I hope you guys are blessed on this wonderful Friday afternoon. It is beautiful out. So you see the title, right? I know many of you may be, what? The Moors were in the South? Well, listen up. The original Al-American, spelled Al-Meri-Khan, or Ameri-Inca. Constitution is a trust document, hence the public trust, which is designed to govern public officials who are actually trustees for the heirs of the vast Moorish estate, once known as Amaru, Wichita, de Dugda Mandez, Moors, aka the Ancient Ones, the Mound Builders. The Wichita Moors are the oldest indigenous people on the planet according to the United Nations. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a religious trust created by Prince Noble Drew Ali of the Wichita Empire. Yes, Noble Drew Ali was a prince of the Wichita Empire. His mother, Eliza Turner, was an heir of the Turner royal family. The land that Prophet Noble Drew Ali put into trust belonged to his own family, the Turners. This is why the Turners never undid what the Prophet did, because it was something the Prophet did to protect our land. The Turner royal family surname, Tunica, is derived from Tunis. For example, Turner equals Tunica, equals Tunis, equals Tennessee. Tunis is a Muslim country in North Africa that was established by the Carthaginians. The Carthaginians were a bunch of the Phoenicians. Tennessee was Tunis. Tunisia, a once wealthy port city, is famous for having been one of the sites of the ancient Phoenician civilizations and was a premier destination for travelers heading to Carthage, North America. Has 15 Carthage place names, which suggests that Grand Tunis and Grand Phoenicia were in the Americas. Yes, the Phoenicians are from the Americas. The Constitution is derived from the Great Law of Peace, which is royal Muslim law of the ancient Berbers, the Wichita Moors, who were given the misnomer as Indians after 1621, when the word Indian was substituted for Moorish. With the single alteration, the original text was again transcribed in 1703. In this post is an image of a 1491 map of the distribution of the barbarous tribes east of the Mississippi. The map is from the University of South Florida. Barbaros is just a descriptive word for barbarians, which is just code for the word Berber, especially since we know that the vowels are interchangeable with ancient Semitic languages. Therefore, barbarous can easily be converted to Berber-us tribes, which were Turks, Moors. The Spanish considered the Saracens, Moors, uncivilized barbarians because of their belief in Islam. I have noticed that most of the old maps prior to 1492 show Moorish territories and dominions in the Americas, and this 1491 map is a perfect example of Moorish territory prior to 1492. The year 1492 marked to start the conquest of the Moors. Notice on the 1491 map all of the names of these Berber Indian Moors: Seminoles, Choctaws, Cherokee, Creeks, Chickasaws, Muskogee, Yamasis, Catawbas, Shawnees, Mohawks, Senecas, Pequots, Wampanoag, and many other Indian tribes that I did not name, but you can see them on the 1491 map. Some of these tribes were major Indian tribes. So who can say that the Moors were not indigenous when the Moors were also Indians from India Superior, which is the Americas? The said tribes were predominantly Algonquin tribes, since they spoke Algonquin languages. The prefix of al, in Algonquin is interesting since al is a Moorish surname. It is the feminine form of el, which means God, or force, or power. Alabama, Illinois. These are two U.S. states that also have the al prefix. Since the letter L in Illinois is a vowel, the letter I in Illinois is a vowel, that can be substituted with another vowel like A or E. El was also the Phoenician, Canaanite god of the Amorites, Moors, and the pre-Israelites. El is depicted as a black man wearing a golden fez and golden Moorish attire. El eventually became the Hebrew god Yahweh. Electricity, elevate, election, elder, etc. are all forms of El. The Algonquin tribes spoke Egyptian. Hebrew and Arabic are the same language, but only with a different dialect. According to Dr. Alim El-Bey, the indigenous Algonquin tribes spoke Egyptian, Phoenician language. The fact that the Algonquin tribes spoke Egyptian is more evidence proving the ancient Egypt was in the Americas. The Moors became the custodian of the Egyptian mysterious when Egypt fell, according to the book Stolen Legacy by George G. James. Moor means a high priest of Anu, according to a book called The Teachings of Ptah-hotep, the oldest book in the world, by Asa G. Hillard. Further evidence that American Indians are Moors is from the book The Americas by Dr. Yusuf Mora. The descendants of the North American Moors are the present-day Araucos, Algonquin, Anasazi, Hohokam, Olmec, Apache, Arawak, Arikana, Chavin, Cherokee, Cree, Hupa, Hopi, Maka, Mohawk, Naka, Zeus, and Zuni. However, we can also include Taino, Lenape, Seminoles, Creeks, Choctaws, Wichita, Yamasee, Tascarawas, Charawas, Mayans, Aztecs, Incas, Sioux, Micmac, Acadians, Amazons, Tuscarora, Mohawk, Seneca, Wichita, Blackfoot, Sioux, and all of the barbarous tribes east of the Mississippi River were also North American Moors. The rebel flag, aka the Confederate flag, is just the flag of the Iroquois Confederation, and also the St. Andrew's flag. The Iroquois Confederation was part of the Wichita Empire. How do I know this? Well, because Prophet Noble Drew Ali's father was John Thompson Drew, and he was a colonel for the Confederate Army. Believe it or not, but the Confederate flag is not a symbol of hate and slavery. It's actually the flag of the Osirian, Christ Jesus, resurrection, which means being reborn again or resurrected, which is only possible through spiritual practice. Osiris was the Holy Father, Christ, in the Egyptian mysteries and was called Lord of the Perfect Black. Osiris is based on a very powerful priest king, dragon king, that lived over 75,000 years ago, named Nimrod, Pharaoh Narmer. Nimrod, a mighty hunter, mighty warrior, was one of the first recorded Black Panthers, aka Messiah, to wear the mighty leopard skin, jaguar skin. Nimrod was the first person to ever rule the world. The Confederate flag has been converted into a symbol of hate and slavery to get you to hate your own sign and symbol so that you will not associate yourself with it and be able to claim your Southern heritage to the several Southern states. The first slave owner in America was Anthony Johnson, and he was a Moor. You even had Black Confederate generals and soldiers according to the books Black Confederates and Black Slave Owners. How do I explain this? Well, we fought a civil war amongst ourselves for over 20 years before European slaves got involved. The Civil War was between the Iroquois Confederation and the Powhatan Confederation, the South and the North. The Civil War was fought over economic concerns for the Union, since the North feared that if the South left the Union, that action would bankrupt the North. Therefore, the Civil War had nothing to do with race or ending slavery. For more evidence that the Moors ran the South, you can check out a video called The Black Southern Confederacy by Straight Up on YouTube. The YouTube video, The Black Southern Confederacy by Straight Up, demonstrates that Jefferson Davis, Alexander Stephens, and General Robert E. Lee were Moors that fought for the South to defend their way of life. Jefferson Davis was the president of the Southern Confederation, the Southern Confederacy, and his vice president was Alexander Stephens. Robert E. Lee was the general for the Southern Confederacy. These men were all Black men that fought for the South during the Civil War that started in 1861 and lasted 4 years until 1865. You had more history, or you had more whites in slavery than blacks in the South, because Moors owned the South. The Cherokee were the Moors, and they owned European slaves. Quote, "To be a white slave was to be a Muslim slave," end quote, according to Slavery, Indentured Servitude, and Race by Gunther Peck. Now, in this post is a comparison image between the 1861 state flag of South Carolina and the 1844 flag of the Ottoman Empire. You will see both flags are Islamic and are almost identical to each other. Yes, South Carolina was part of the Ottoman Empire since the Carolinas was once Turkey. The 1861 state flag of South Carolina proves that South Carolina was ancient Turkey, since it is almost identical to the state flag of Turkey and the flag of the Ottoman Empire. In this post is a YouTube video from Caramillo called The Untold Cause of the Civil War, which is a book that cost over $1,000 on Amazon. Now, you can go watch online and read the book with Caramillo for free, but the book explains how the Civil War was not fought to end slavery, since the North had their own slaves. According to this book, the Civil War was caused due to economic concerns because the North feared that if the South had left the Union, it would bankrupt the North, who relied on cotton, corn, lumber, and other imports from the South to fuel their economy. This makes a lot of sense to me. Yes, it was the North who needed to import from the South to fuel their economy. So it was the North that started the Civil War by bombing Fort Sumter, and not the other way around, because it was the North who needed the South. Desperate people have always been known to do desperate things. The Confederate flag banner is also almost identical to the state flag of Turkey, the flag of the Ottoman Empire, and the 1861 state flag of South Carolina, which are Islamic states, since the said flags all have cherry red backgrounds with Islamic crescent moon and star on them. This highly suggests that the South were indeed Moors or Turks, aka the seed of Ishmael, the son of Abraham, of the Bible. The Seminole Nation and the Creek Nation were blood allies that also fought for the South during the Civil War, since they were also Moors. The 1861 pro-Confederate flags of the Creek and Seminole Nation are almost identical Islamic flags that feature the crescent moon and star on them. In addition, as further proof that Moors or Turks ran the South, we have a dissertation written by historian Margaret D. Montcourt Story, Ph.D., entitled Southern Ishmaelites, Wartime Unionism and Its Consequences in Alabama, from 1860 through 1874. Additionally, we have the state name of Alabama to consider, which is of Arabic origins, since the Islamic god Allah is in Alabama. Alabama. All of this evidence is undeniable proof that the Moors ran the South and were here way before Christopher Columbus. You ever heard of the Daughters of the American Revolution? Well, Dar were the white slave women that were the concubines for the Moors in their Moorish harems. Now, Dar has become an elite secret society of white women, and they still do wear the Moorish fez that the Moors let her wear after we bred her and raised her up from an animal state. Google Moorish harem for more evidence on this. You see, our slavery is always talked about, but white slavery is never talked about. The original Constitution was the first 10 amendments. The number 10 is perfection, and it also means resurrection or rebirth. 10 is also the unification of male, 1, and female, 0, energies to create life. The human form is based off of 10, which is also the binary programming code for computers, ones and zeros. The human form has 10 fingers and 10 toes. The word constitution is derived from the word constituent, which means to form a body, make up a body, and or to compose. The Constitution is a body of natural laws, God's laws. The word amendment is derived from the Black Egyptian god Amun, Amen, which means the hidden source of power, or so be it. The suffix of amendment, mint, M-E-T or M-I-N-T, means to make, publish, or make known. Mint is also the root word of mental, the word amendment. I define as meaning the hidden law or hidden power made flesh or the hidden source revealed. Yes, law is very physiological because real law is philosophy. Attorneys don't learn this type of information in law school because they are not real lawyers. Attorneys are military agents for the Vatican or Queen of England, and all they learn in law school is theories based on statutes and codes. Most attorneys don't even learn procedure until after they finish law school and start reading case laws on their own. There's a YouTube video called When White Supremacists Overthrew a Government. It's how white supremacy overthrew all governments everywhere in Americas. Yes, Moors were the prominent, rich, liberal Republicans first, because the Americas were our homeland, and we started the first governments and business commerce in the Americas. In this post, you'll see going across the screen images of black Republican U.S. senators and black Republican U.S. presidents from the Facebook page Knowledge of Self. According to evidence, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, Rutherford B. Haynes, James A. Garfield, Chester A. Arthur, Grover Cleveland, James Madison, John Quincy Adams, John Tyler, James K. Polk, Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, and James Buchanan were all so-called black men. These said men were all former U.S. presidents. This information does not surprise me, since our first U.S. president was a black man named George Washington. Abolitionist John Brown was also a black man. Abolitionist was also a black man that fought to end white slavery in the South. Now, I'm going to end this here, but don't worry. I will be back with part 2 of this because it goes a little bit deeper. All right? Just leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. I'm out. Hopefully, you're still not unbothered.